Hi, this is Cindy Fodor with stampthelove.blogspot.com, and I'm bringing you a video today showing you a technique that used to be called polished stone. Today, I'm not sure I can call it that because we don't have the same materials that we did have when we did that technique, but I think I got some of the same look with this technique. So hope you'll stick with me. I have a couple other tips to give you as well. I'm using the Ornate Garden Designer Series paper. This isn't the same piece, but this is similar to what it looks like. I thought I had a piece here to show. Oh yeah. So here's what it looked like before I did the technique on it. And this is what the back of it looks like. So it's a double-sided paper. It's not heavy, and it's not, the surface isn't shiny. It just has some embossing on it for the pattern. Before I show you that, I don't want to forget to show you a little tip on using your photopolymer stamps. You can see that this one has pink on it, and that doesn't come off. I've tried, but I'm going to show you how to try to keep that from happening, and I forgot to get my mat here. So my first tip is this. Take your Versamark pad. It's what you use for embossing, and ink your stamp up really well before you use it in your ink. Now, I usually only do this if I know that the ink is going to stain my stamp, and the colors that stain are reds, but that could be in your browns. Browns have reds in them. Navy, I think, seems to have some red in it, and that will leave your stamp pink. So once you do that, then go ahead and ink it with your stamp and use it as you would normally. So I'm going to ink up my saying that I need for this card and get that stamped on here. I'm using my paper piercing mat to get good coverage because you need that with your photopolymer stamps. I'm finished with that. So now I'm not finished because now the cleaning part is really important. So first of all, I'm going to clean it, get the most of the ink off with my Stamp and Scrub. And I have just water on here because I did it on the wrong side. I have water on here because I need it for using this. This is a new product that Stampin' Up! Came out with when the new catalog came out last June. And I didn't understand what it was for until somebody explained it. So this basically is to clean your photopolymer stamps. And I love how it works. You can see the surface is messy, and it will be. You don't clean this part. It also has a refill of fluid that you can put on here when you need to do that. It's got like a sandy feel to it. And so you just take your stamp over it. I just do it like this with a little bit of back and forth motion. And then I'm just going to close that. I'm finished with that. But the important thing to remember is that you have got to get everything off of here now that you put on there. So I have water on here, and I'm going to clean it really good and get all of the dirt off that I can. And we'll see how that comes back. Okay, looks pretty good. Now, if you could do better than I did, I don't have a sink down here, so I have to carry bottled water down here and use it on my cleaner. So the best thing to do would be run this under running water and just get it as clean as possible. So that's how I take care of my photopolymers, try to keep them from getting terribly stained. I don't care that they're stained. I just want to be able to see through them because that's the beauty of photopolymer, is that you can see through it. Okay, so this saying comes from the Ornate, I wrote that, whoops, sorry. I wrote that down because I knew I was going to forget what it was. Ornate Thanks is the bundle that this saying comes from. It has a lot of really great sayings that go with thank you. I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to get to the technique. So to do this technique, I'm using the background paper I told you about. You also need some ink refills, and I'm using the metallic ink refill, Delicata Gold. You also need some cotton balls, and you need some alcohol. And I put my alcohol in our little spritzer bottle. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my cotton balls really wet. So I'm just going to squirt them. And it doesn't matter because I need to get this wet too. So I'm going to just go ahead and hold it over here. I want these good and wet. And I'm going to also open my bottles because I want to be able to use them quickly. And okay, now next thing I'm going to do is spritz my paper. And this, like I said, this paper is really very fine paper. It doesn't have a coating on it, so it's really going to soak in the, and then I'm just going to take my gold, and you can put it on your cotton ball and do this, but I decided that I realized that the gold stayed on pretty blotchy. Whoops, that's a little more than I wanted. I'm going to pull from that, and I'm just going to plop it in the center of these flowers, so that I don't care if it spreads from there, but so that it looks like I had a purpose in where that went. And if it didn't have a design like this, I wouldn't care at all where it went. And you will see on my sample again that the flowers on my sample are a little bit further apart, so it doesn't matter quite as much. Okay, let me tap on some more here. I'm going to get another pile, I think. You sort of have to work fast because you don't want to have to keep reapplying your alcohol, but you can if you need to. I do find that the best results come from lots of alcohol, and I'm not talking about drinking it either. Don't misquote me there. Okay, just a couple more here. All right, and this is just rubbing alcohol, by the way, that I'm spraying on here. Okay, that's probably a lot more gold than you would need. Typically, I don't use quite that much. Now I'm ready to use my, I'm going to add a little more. I really like to have this sopping wet. Okay, I'm going to start first with my red because that's sort of my highlight color. And I'm just adding a couple drops of red using Poppy Parade. And I'm just going to start tapping that around in a random pattern. Okay, thank you for joining me today. I did not intend to do a Facebook Live, but my phone does not have any memory, and I have worked all day trying to do this, taking stuff off my phone and trying again, and I must have tried like 5 times, and I finally said, this is just ridiculous. So, till I get a new phone, I guess I will be bringing you videos by Facebook Live. All right, and I'm going to spray a little more water on here because I see that the colors are staying really in one little spot, and I don't want that. I want them to really blend. Okay, I'm gonna put that aside. I'm gonna come back to that again, and I'm gonna spritz this a little bit more with some alcohol. And this time I'm gonna do some Daffodil Delight. It's not going to show up a lot because of the gold that's in there, but I want a little bit more yellow to highlight the gold color. And you see I'm still going over the gold, and I don't care if it moves to another spot. That's fine. And now I'm going to come in and use my green. So I'm using Old Olive. And you could do this in specific places, like you can see leaves on this one, so I could like really focus on getting the green where the leaves are if I want to. Or I could just add it wherever. And again, I'm going to add more alcohol. And I'm not liking that my red is disappearing, so we're going to go back over. And this, it's the funny thing about this technique, it's almost like if you've ever done the shaving cream technique, every time you do it, you get a different result. So don't get too hooked on one design because it's going to look different every time you do it. And so that's sort of the same with this. And I usually just keep working with it until I like what I have. And I think I'm starting to like it. I really want that red in there because my card base is going to be Poppy Parade, so I really want the red to show up. And just a little more red and a little more alcohol. I've got cotton everywhere. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop there. And so what I do after this, and I'm not going to do as seen on TV because I don't want to, I can't do that because it's Facebook Live. But what I did with this is I took it to my heat tool and I heated it on a low setting. It will curl for you as you're heating it because, like I said, it's a very lightweight paper. And then after it was dry, I stuck it in a book and left it flatten out good. And then I put it together. So I'm just going to show you the rest of my layers. Let me set this up here. So I cut this out of crushed curry. This is one of our Ornate designs. This one is from the Ornate Thanks set, I believe. No, it's from the Ornate Garden. The Ornate Thanks is more borders. They're just so beautiful. I have had so much fun with these amazing designs that they did. We've had nothing like them before, so you will be very impressed. So this card is going to, this piece that I just did, and I'm just going to show you how it would look if it was ready to be layered. So it's going to go on here like this, and then this will go on top. Oops, I did add some red under it because I wanted it to stand out just a little bit more. And then for this, I changed the bow up from this one just because I love this ribbon, this crinkled ribbon. And I just tied it around my fingers. I do have a bow tying tool, but I couldn't find it. So I tied it around 3 fingers 3 times and then just tied it together. I will have to show you that in another video, how to do that. I'll use my bow tying tool though, because it wouldn't be fun to watch on my fingers. And then of course I used my new gilded gems to add the little accent in the center of the card there. So hopefully this was helpful. I hope you'll try it. I'm sure you have some rubbing alcohol on hand, and if you don't have cotton balls, you can use any type of cotton or tissue or something that's going to be absorbent and will stay wet. And I hope you try it out, and maybe you can post on our Facebook page what you've done with this technique. And maybe you can help me to come up with a good name to call it, since I don't think it doesn't look marbled like polished stone, because the gold just doesn't disperse like it used to when we had the old gold refill. So maybe we can come up with a fun name for that. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. God bless.